comfortably while taking long walks.
Sure, that works. So let me finish grading these exams while you think about what areas of physics you'd like to learn about, okay?
Okay.
She trots off in the direction of the library, then I go back to my grading. As I start on the next paper, I hear her saying,
Maybe I can finally find out what this Einstein guy was all about.
Ask any human, or most dogs, to picture a scientist, and odds are good that their mental image will look a lot like the iconic pictures of Albert Einstein. White hair sticking in all directions, rumpled clothes, maybe even a German accent and a distracted air. This is a little unfair to scientists. Footnote: the image is also a little unfair to Einstein himself, who was not even 30 when he published his revolutionary work. Pictures of him then show a handsome and well-groomed young man. The wild hair and baggy clothes came much later. Great scientists come in all sizes, shapes, races, genders, and nationalities, though not yet species. But Einstein has captured the popular imagination to an amazing degree and dominates the popular image of a scientist. Even more than 50 years after his death, Einstein was the second most popular answer in a poll asking people to name a living scientist. Footnote: among those who could name a scientist at all, that is, 65% couldn't even make the attempt. Stephen A Brief History of Time Hawking had the top spot. Asked why Einstein is a famous scientist, even dogs can come up with the equation E=mc² and possibly the words theory of relativity. Explaining what those mean and where they come from is beyond most humans, though, let alone dogs. This is an unfortunate state of affairs, as Einstein's theory of relativity is one of the cornerstones of modern physics. Along with quantum mechanics, relativity completely revolutionized the way scientists view our universe. It provides insight into problems that classical physics can't handle, and poses new problems that physicists still grapple with 100 years later. Unfortunately, the features that make relativity so essential to physics also make it extremely intimidating to non-physicists. Relativity deals with situations that are very foreign to our everyday experience of the universe. Objects moving thousands of times faster than the fastest man-made objects. Astronomical objects packing enormous masses into tiny spaces. And its predictions defy all our normal expectations. Relativity tells us that quantities that seem fundamental, distances through space, and duration in time, in fact, vary from one observer to another. A moving clock ticks at a different rate than a stationary one. A clock near a massive object ticks at a different rate than one farther away. And space itself is stretched by the presence of mass, so the length of a path between 2 points depends on what you pass along the way. These are all surprising predictions made by the theory of relativity. They are also unequivocally true, confirmed by countless experiments in the century since Einstein first introduced relativity in 1905. The universe we live in is a far stranger place than our everyday intuition leads us to expect. To fully understand it, we have to expand our conception of the universe to include the counterintuitive predictions of the theory of relativity. This can seem a daunting task, but one way to make it more approachable is to think like a dog. As any pet owner knows, dogs look at the world in a very different way. Not entirely without preconceptions, but at least with different preconceptions than their humans, often in ways that make physics easier to understand. To a dog, any time should be dinner time, so the idea of clocks running at different rates for moving observers, or observers in different places, is easier to accept. If you learn to think like a dog, to approach the world as an endless source of surprise and wonder, modern physics is much less intimidating. Looking at physics from a dog's point of view allows us to shake off some of our human expectations about how things ought to work, and lets us appreciate the weird and wonderful world revealed by relativity. This book reproduces a series of conversations with my dog about aspects of both special and general relativity. Each conversation is followed by a more detailed discussion of the physics involved, aimed at interested human listeners. Some of the topics covered have achieved fame, or at least notoriety, in the wider culture, like Einstein's famous equation E=mc², Chapter 7, or the idea of black holes, Chapter 10.